Yeah, what up?
Yes, Eric.
Pussy poppin', yeah, I'm alcohol with it. Booty got swag, if you want it, you could go. Go get it, go get it. 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 Yeah, I'm that chick, caramel and roasted. I'm lifting my nails painted. I'm so attractive. Kisses I give it fantastic. Keep pulling on my ass, so I let them know what's happening. Just pass the shit and get back where I put them at it. Gotta stay standing next to second or lasting. If I'm real happy with these fees, I'm offended. To the back we go when these checks we are spending.
What's
My
up?
bitch never slacking. I call them real big.
Here we go.
Like a roller coaster, that's a real pretty. Shit, nice, but these niggas pop me. I'm married to this money, so it's easy. I see it. I take my ass up real fast like a NASCAR. I be the shit. Bitches like slug bar. Trip off the next trip. All the boys start jacking. They like the way I'm jacking and they like the way I pop it. I'm looking real bad and he can't stop watching that fuck with a nigga guap it up, stop it. I'm Ashley, Action Man, if you remember me. Last time had him sipping on me like some Hennessy. He can be the mistreated, but I'm kissing me. He's and his pussy is the remedy. He said he's hungry, I'ma feed him all night. I'ma feed him all night. I'ma feed him all night.